we have to congratulate Navigator for being with us, for inviting us, and of course for making all of you attracted to be here. Thank you very much, Danai and Mr. Vezentakos, for the words that you made, and you inspired us once again to support what we love, I mean, Greek shipping. Certainly, we are really thankful. We are really thankful as well for the sponsors, because without them, we cannot be all together here. As you know, fundraising is very difficult nowadays, and I'm telling you because I am the president of a club that we are doing always fundraising and donations, the Propeller Club. Ex-minister, mayor, representative of the mayor, Mrs. MP of the European Parliament. Your speeches were fantastic, as well as the presentation of the diamond sponsor. So now it is our turn. We're going to speak for the ports, and this is something really very important, because the port industry and the port itself is a part of the transportation chain, and actually it is a real hub that can destroy anything if it won't work. I'm going to give you an example that during the bad days of the process of the privatization of the port of Piraeus, a period like this, I mean, some years ago, the port of Piraeus was closed, so they could not import all this, or the container ships were not permitted to or allowed to be in the port, and they were going in the west side of Greece, in Astakos. For the unionists, it was illegal. For all the other, it was normal. So at those times, if you remember well, the Greek merchants, they lost billions of euros because they lost the Christmas period. So just to understand that for all of you, as consumers, as human beings, it is very important to have a normal operation in the ports, as is for other countries that they don't have sea, is the railway network or the road network. So for us, the Greeks, it is really very important, and most of the countries and all the continents as well, simply because more than 90% of the cargoes transported in the globe are through sea transportation. And there is, I'm having a very nice panel here, and I'm really very happy to welcome to welcome a part of our Spanish friend Javier López, Mrs. Vera Alexandropoulou, that is the head of the legal department of the Piraeus Port Authority, and she has been there since 2005, if I remember well, correct. And but before that, a prominent Greek lawyer, a shipping lawyer, that she studied both in Germany, in Heidelberg, and in Harvard. She worked for international shipping companies, shipping law firms like Norton Rose, and she is dedicated in OLP for the last 11 years. We have Mrs. Katerina Stathopoulou, and a real shipping financier, a banker, we can say in our world. She started from a shipping company, the Athenian Sea Carriers. She continued as well to two Greek banks as head of shipping and member of the credit committee. And since 2000 is working in the investment finance Ltd as an executive director. Katerina is a close friend of Danai, and this year they were co-founders in this fantastic Yes Forum that we had last Posidonia, but she is also a member of WISTA, a member of International Propeller Club, and advisory board in the Blue Growth with Petros Kokalis, and many other things, many positions, and she raised as well two nice kids. We also have, as we said, Javier, that he comes from Algeciras Port Authority. He is a graduate of the University of Granada and MSc of Gramenos. Javier López has over 20 years of experience in shipping, started his career working in the liner container traffic, EUU, Florida, for Tech Marine Lines, where he became an expert in dealing with new business opportunities as South America markets. After his experience in Florida, he jumped to the other side of the game field, landing at the Port of Authority of Algeciras Bay, currently the fifth one in Europe in total traffic, assuming different managerial positions, commercializing new container terminals concession, involved at European Seaport Organization, committee mainly related with the 10T projects, currently involved with the development of the railway connectivity, reefer traffic from South America, and bunkering activity. You do a lot of things, Javier. So,
we are not that many.
And you know, I mean, I'm not paid for making this, but you know, I have done everything. So, last is my good friend and fellow Admiral Apostolos Kamarinakis. I'm saying a good friend, but I will show you later. He's now in the ports. He's a freelancer consultant for ports and port development. On the recycling and environmental sector, he's a member of the board of Hellenic Recovery Recycling Corporation and general coordinator for environmental issues, corporate and social responsibility, recycling energy in Sklavenitis store, supermarket chain. And on the energy sector, he's a CEO of Jet Energy Ltd, which is involved in the field of renewable energy. Jet Energy is a subsidiary company of the private Greek-owned petroleum company Jet Oil. Apostolos has been a civil engineer from Polytechniou Athinon, Real Admiral of the Hellenic Coast Guard, former Director of Port Policy Division of the Hellenic Ministry of Shipping and the Aegean, former CEO of Igoumenitsa Port Authority, former Executive Director of the National Center of Port Development, where myself I was a president there. And this is why I told him that he is my partner, my friend. And former president of the Committee for the Master's Plan of Greek Ports of Hellenic Ministry of Shipping and the Aegean. So you can understand that here you have a lot of port guys and women. And what I would like you to, at the end, is to have a global communication and discussion on what we can do, on what you need. Here you have a panel that is going to answer everything. My lady, it is your turn, Eva. Thank you. Παρακαλώ, αποδεχτείτε την κυρία Νεροπούλου. Δυστυχώς φτάσαμε στο obvious να θέλει παρακάλια κι αυτό.
Τα παρακάλια.
Των χειροκροτημάτων.
Αυτό είναι.
Το obvious.
Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Danaimou, Captain Dimitri, thank you very much for inviting us to this important conference. I'm very proud to be sharing with you all the developments and operations of the port of Piraeus, a port of great commercial, financial, historical, and infrastructural significance, the main sea gate of Greece, an important hub of the Mediterranean, connecting Asia with Europe. Piraeus Port Authority SA has always been a profitable company, distributing dividends to its shareholders. Now the port privatization and the planned investments will positively impact the local and national economy, resulting in social and financial well-being of thousands of citizens and businesses. Piraeus Port has a geographically strategic position. I know that many ports claim to have this advantage, but the truth is that the port of Piraeus is the first European port to be encountered by vessels arriving in Europe from east of the Canal Suez with the necessary infrastructure to serve overland transports and transshipment trade towards southeastern and central Europe. The key milestones of the company: it was set up in 1930, transformed into Société Anonyme in 1999, listed on the ATHEX in 2003. In 2008, an agreement between PPSA and COSCO Pacific leads to the concession of Piers 2 and 3. This successful partnership is further sealed in 2016, with COSCO acquiring 51% of the equity stake in Piraeus Port Authority SA in first round and another 16% after the completion of mandatory port enhancements of approximately 2,094 million euros. Among the fundamental activities in the port area is the active coastal zone, as well as the cruise, car, and container terminal, which operate 24/7 all year long, as well as the shipyard and ship repair zone. Following high international standards, the container terminal ranks among the 10 largest in Europe in throughput, is a hub for transshipment in the Mediterranean and Black Sea, and aims in 2017 to become the first Mediterranean port with the capacity to service 5 mega container ships of over 18,000 TEU simultaneously. The annual throughput has already reached 3 million TEUs and still has double-digit growth. Piraeus is the largest passenger port in Europe in traffic terms, throughput, playing a crucial role in the economy and social cohesion of the country as it connects the islands to the mainland. It's also the center of the Mediterranean cruise experience. It has 11 places of the simultaneously berthing of cruise ships and can accommodate even the largest cruise vessels. With an annual capacity of 600,000 vehicles and 2 terminals of approximately 190,000 square meters, the Piraeus port is one of the biggest car transshipment centers in the East Mediterranean, with close to zero damage record. After the completion of the new investment, Piraeus is meant to become a large automotive logistics center. Here you can see the economic benefits of the port investment, which are here presented at an aggregate level and showing the multiplying effects within the economy, i.e. you see the direct and indirect as well as induced benefits of the investments. And where you have the mandatory investments, you can see them here. Those are the mandatory port enhancements amounting up to 294 million euros. PPSA also aims to contribute to solutions both to social and environmental issues, environmental best practices during the daily operation of all port services rank high in the priorities of the port. Piraeus is one of the fastest growing ports in the world. These port investments are crucial to boost the Greek economy, not only through their direct positive impact, but also as a strong stimulus, a multiplier, a catalyst for growth, productivity, and trust, rendering Greece to a secure and attractive investment place. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Vera. Thank you very much. Certainly, all Greeks are waiting to see many things from the new organization of and the new shareholding structure of Port of Piraeus, and we are all delighted and waiting to see the implementation of the strategic plan. Javier López, it's your turn to tell us, to say a few words that you want for the 5th largest European port, and it's going to be our pleasure to listen to you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Well, thank you again, ladies and gentlemen, for inviting the Port of Algeciras Bay to the Navigator conference. It's a pleasure to be here. I will try to explain what are the major challenges of the Port of Algeciras nowadays. This is a picture of the Port of Algeciras Bay. It's a natural port, as you can see. We are strategically very well located in the Strait of Gibraltar, and it may be the key factor or the components to make the Port of Algeciras Bay to be the leading Spanish port and the leading in the Mediterranean when talking about the total traffic, and the fifth in Europe. This is a picture about on the Strait of Gibraltar. You can see on your right-hand side the Port of Algeciras, the Algeciras Bay, and in front you have Africa. So we are just in the middle, in the geographical strategically location where the zero deviation principle is applied for the HELLENIC container business. When talking about the Port of Algeciras Bay, we normally speak about containers, but also due to our proximity to Africa, we have more than 5 million passengers crossing the Strait of Gibraltar a year, and 300,000 trucks crossing in a rural traffic. Let's do a simile. I like to explain on this picture that on the east-west traffic, we generate a lot of volume, with a massive volume that is quite important to maintain our productivity, taking into account the labor, but it's quite affected by the macroeconomical environment, okay? But instead, on the north-south traffic, everything coming from South America, from Africa, and stopping in the Port of Algeciras Bay, it generates more added value and is less affected to the macroeconomic crisis worldwide. So basically, we have differentiated two main traffic, east-west and north-south. This is some figures of the Port of Algeciras Bay. Total throughput we did in 2015 close to 100 million tons. We're expecting this year to reach 100 million tons. By September 2016, we reached 75 million tons. In container, growing close to 8%. In import-export, which is one of the most important issues in Algeciras, we are close in September to 232,000 TEUs, growing close to 23%. This is quite important for us because we went through the school of the transshipment, and we are developing the port as basically as a local distribution or local platform distribution center. As we mentioned before, road traffic we are doing quite well as well, growing 8%. And something that is quite related to the shipping Greek sector is that with bunker sales, we are growing only just, but that is minus, that should be plus 1%. We are fine, and we are doing something that any other port is not doing in the Mediterranean. We are not charging port dues for bunkering purpose. And when the ship comes to Algeciras requesting a bunker-only operation, the Port Authority doesn't charge anything, okay? This is the current situation I was explained before. We are the first Mediterranean port. We're talking about the total throughput. And the sixth European port when talking about the container traffic. This is a picture from the Port of Algeciras with two container terminals, APMT on the right-hand side and TTI on the left-hand side. So in this point, I would like to make a special mention to the ambassador of South Korea. This is the Hanjin, used to be the Hanjin shipping TTI terminal. It was the first semi-automatic container terminal in the Med. I think the Hanjin shipping and the Port of Algeciras, we went together developing the first semi-automatic container terminal. Nowadays, we are dealing directly with Hanjin shipping to see what is going to be the final result of the stake that Hanjin shipping has on the terminal. It's 25%. Yeah, talking about the Hanjin, this is a Hanjin shipping terminal, TTI. We are launching nowadays the third container terminal in Algeciras. The phase B is 30 hectares, and it will be over for application on the 31st of March 2017. And the main characteristic of this concession is that we are, for first time, working on the 50-year concession. Well, here we have one of the main advantages of the Port of Algeciras Bay, which is the connectivity. While talking about the container port, the most and more relevant issue for a shipper is to have or to work with a port with a lot of connections. We are currently connected with 188 ports worldwide, 28 container shipping lines working, with 79 maritime service. We have a current transit time from Shanghai to Algeciras of only 24 days. Other Spanish ports, they have 29. So this transit time, along with the daily railway service with Madrid, is making Algeciras as an import-export port. So basically what I want to explain is that it used to be, or we are a very proud transshipment port, but thank you to the transit time that the shipping service is doing it between Asia and Algeciras for this final distribution, some of the major shippers in Spain, they are taking advantage and doing the import-export operation through Algeciras already. Well, this is an award that we received last year, and we are nominated for this year as well. We are the first European port in productivity when counting the number of moves per vessel per hour. This is a key issue. It's a key issue when attending mega ships. Mega ships cannot be into the port more than 12, 14 hours because they're losing money when they are in the port. So we are basically working on a daily basis with the labor in order to improve our productivity. We are implementing, or we're trying to implement more innovation, and we are trying to work as well with the terminal operators in order to reduce that time into the port. We are developing right now the project, which is a one-stop ship, which is an alliance between Maersk, the port of Rotterdam, and the port of Algeciras, in order to develop the project to reduce that time 20% throughout 2017. Main challenge, I will say all of them, of the port of Algeciras, is that ship size. We need to face a lot of pressure because of the dimension of the current mega ships. The new container scenario with the new alliance, the digitalization, which is quite important, and sustainability. Well, I didn't put over here one of the main challenges, which I think match between the port of Algeciras.
Μπορούμε να κλείσουμε την πόρτα, παρακαλώ, εκεί πέρα να κλείσουμε την πόρτα. Ευχαριστώ. Όχι, να συνεχίσουν να μιλάνε οι άνθρωποι εκεί, αλλά εμείς θέλουμε να ακούσουμε εδώ. Please.
An issue that I couldn't write down here, but I think is something that may happen to the port of Piraeus and the port of Algeciras, is that we are facing quite a strong competition from non-European ports, okay, with different legal standards and other basically advantage that an European port couldn't afford. And I think all of us, we know what we're talking about. Well, ship size. We continue to make an investment in infrastructure. We have all the major shipping lines calling with the major ships in Algeciras. That picture, the Maersk line, the McKinney Mollis, was a trial. It was a worldwide record. They put on board of the ships more than 18,000 TEUs. And that, believe me, that put a lot of pressure not only on the port size, but also on the terminals. As I said before, those ships, they cannot stay in the port more than 12, 14 hours, otherwise the shipping line will be losing money. Last year, we received 99 mega ships in 2015, and by June of 2016, we are increasing by 21% the number of mega ships in Algeciras. Well, this is the newest scenario, talking about a container industry. We are going to have three major alliances, 2M, Ocean Alliance. This is not updated because COSCO should be into the Ocean Alliance and the alliance. It is so important to be part of this alliance. I mean, you are into the picture or you are out of the picture. It's clear. It's like this. There is no any other way to explain. You have to be close, working with them, trying to meet their demands. This is the concentration of the industry. The industry is going through very bad times, so they're looking for new mergers and acquisitions in order to reduce the operational costs. We start the week with the new announcements, the new merge between K-Line, NYK, and MOL in Japan. So we will have the fourth alliance. And this is this will be the newest scenario. This is a message. I mean, almost 85% of the overall market share will be dominated by three different alliances. With the new alliance, with the Japanese one, we can say that 92% of the market share it will be dominated or controlled by four major alliances. So this is something quite important to think about it. Some people they may think that this is an open market. I have my doubts. They already think the Council of the Port of Piraeus mentioned already the digitalization and the new generation concept. We are investing 27 million euros in a project, named Smart Brain Port. I mean, it's one of the strategic objectives in strengthening the innovation and digitalization in the port as an element of competitiveness. We already developed in the first phase 16 applications. Most of them, they are related with port operations, but some of them, they are also related with security. In the port of Algeciras, we already control all the phases, getting in and getting out of the port, phases, personal phases and plugs of the cars automatically. We are working quite hard in order to, in the first phase, doing port operation. We are looking for, by the end of this year, 2017, when a ship's getting into the Bay of Algeciras, all the port services, they should be alliance, like towage, mooring, without human intervention. The main objective is to gain more capacity on the anchor area, because port authorities, they cannot be growing steadily on investment in new surface or in new anchor areas. We need to get more competitiveness on in the administration and more accurate information about all the stakeholders of the port. Well, this will be the second phase, where we are planning for next year to create a Brain Lab Center to promote and consolidate the systematic innovation culture, mentality within the port authority, and taking into account the port, of course, the port community. The target is to allocate an area to play the role of an innovation tractor. And we will be building up a building just to take care of this very challenging project. Somebody mentioned already the relationship between cities and the port authority. This is the conference park. This is one of the examples where the port authority invests 1.5 million euros for the citizens, and we do believe from the port of Algeciras Bay that it is our duty to make the people, the public people, to be conscious of the importance of the port activity. It is our duty to inform them. It is our duty to invite them to come to the port. We have also a program where all the schools, not only for Algeciras, also for all Andalusia, they are invited to visit the port, okay, in a daily basis. I'm finalizing. This is the border inspection point. I will say this is the core of the port. I mean, all the non-European cargo is coming through the port, through the border inspection points. We have 30 gates, and this is 24/7, up on demand. There is no other border inspection point working like this in Spain. Well, talking about the TNT project, we are a core port, and we are taking part of. We have nine main corridors, and we are taking part of the two of them. One is the Atlantic corridor and the Mediterranean one. We are quite behind in railway infrastructure. We are, every single time we had an opportunity to express our lack of attendance in terms of investment from the European Union. I think we need to speed up investment on railway. Otherwise, South European port, we are going to be so behind competing with North European port. We have a nice opportunity with this project to become more competitive, to capture a good market share from the Euro market, but without railway connectivity, that is going to be almost, I would say, almost impossible. Our railway terminal, we're working 5 days a week with 5 services to Madrid. This is something very recent. It used to be a transshipment port. Nowadays, we are not a transshipment port. We are a transshipment port, but with a nice possibility as a gateway. That's why we are working, we are growing in import-export traffic. See, our goal for 2020, 125 million tons. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Do you have any football club?
Yes, we have a football club, unfortunately, in second division.
Second division.
Yeah.
I wish you to be in the first division in order to visit you and to see Barcelona or Real in your port.
You will be always welcome.
Yes, because this is our dream. We are sleeping here with Barcelona and we wake up with Real.
Exactly.
Yes.
More than welcome.
But just before we're going to go, we don't have a long speeches from now on. I mean, just Apostolos Kamarinakis, the admiral, is going to say a few words alone. But one thing that I want to, just from the presentation of Javier, you saw how he presented the port of Algeciras, which is on the other side of Mediterranean, actually, the exit of Mediterranean, and of course is well connected from all over the world. So each one is watching his own port as the center of the world, and this shows that, this is something that we have to have in our mind when we are thinking about our port industry here in Greece, that we are not only ourselves that we have ports, there are many other ports, parts of the world that they have this proximity and strategic position. Apostole, would you mind, I know that you want to say a few words yourself. You prefer to sit there or you can go to the stage? Please, please. Please welcome Admiral Kamarinakis. And if you want me to be correct, former admiral.
Okay. Thank you, George. Minister, Excellencies, dear guests, ladies and gentlemen. First of all, I want to thank the organizers for inviting me to this event. I want to share with you some thoughts about the port sector of Greece. As ex-director for ports in the Ministry of Mercantile Marine, I had the privilege to introduce the transformation of the first 12 major ports of Greece into port organizations. Greece is a country with more than 1,000 port installations due to her geographical morphology and position. Many islands and also many towns, villages in the seafront of the mainland. The port of Piraeus and the port of Thessaloniki were introduced and listed to the Athens stock market, and the other 10 ports, which are Lavrio, Rafina, Elefsina, these are the ports of Attica area, Kavala, Alexandroupolis, Corfu, Igoumenitsa, Volos, Patras, and Iraklio, were converted from public port funds to port organizations and established the first core of port sector in Greece, always in cooperation with the General Secretariat for Ports in the Ministry of Mercantile Marine. A good example of what we can achieve with this transformation is just the example of the 11th port that transformed from a public fund to a port organization, which is Chalkida, the port of Chalkida, and is the port authority of Evia, because in this port organization belongs the whole island of Evia. This transformation gave the benefit to many small ports which are existing all around the island of Evia to become economically capable to ameliorate their own port installations, because the port funds, which are very, very poor, they cannot afford to do many things. And this reflects positively to the local economy and gives a big boost to all these small fishermen societies to become modern touristic centers. This could not have happened if we did not have a wealthy port organization. Of course, we have to convince the local societies and the local authorities about the necessity of converting yet more public port funds, which belong to the local municipality, into a modern port organization SA. This transformation will improve the total performance of the port. I believe that the port organization will help primarily the local economies involved, and secondly, will boost the national economy of Greece. Of course, another issue is the emphasis that should be given to the cruise sector. I can give you an example when I was managing director of the Igoumenitsa Port Authority. It was 10 years ago when the construction of the Egnatia Road was completed, and Igoumenitsa was established as the port entrance gate of this big avenue which joins the east and the west of North Greece. Then I realized how important was first for the local economy of Epirus the realization and dedication of a specific pier of the port as cruise terminal. The other members of the board were wondering if this initiative could be successful because Igoumenitsa didn't have any cruise ship to visit the port in all the past years. I pointed out to them that Corfu, which was a few miles away from Igoumenitsa, was full of cruise ships, so it could be very easy for them to come also to Igoumenitsa. What was missing was the creation of interesting touristic destinations for the passengers of cruise ships, which could be reached very easily, especially with the use of Egnatia Road. And now, Igoumenitsa has successfully accomplished this scenario of cruise terminal. They established touristic visits in many interesting archaeological sites of Epirus and other local sites, as monasteries, the river and the lake of Acherodas, etc. This could apply to many touristically underexploited islands in the Aegean Sea, transforming it into a sea of leisure and prosperity, which will highlight all the different aspects of the Greek landscape and make the visit in each island a unique experience. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Apostoli. Thank you very much, Mr. Kamarinakis. Thank you very much, because in just a few words, you explain us, you give us the juice of your 30 years experience in the port industry. Javier, you have how many organizations in port organization in Spain?
Well, the way this is organized, we are under the umbrella of the State Port, which is under the umbrella of the Ministry of Public Works. And
how many?
Two more. This Port Authority, State Port, Ministry.
Okay.
Okay.
But, yes. But how many port authorities?
We are 28.
28. The whole Spain.
Of interest, yes.
Of
28.
Interest.
Too many.
What do you mean with no interest? What it is? It is just what? How do you call them? Those that are not of interest.
We have thousands of ports in Spain, but we have defined 28 as the interest for the Spanish economy.
I see. I remember at those times, even during Mr. Varvitsiotis' ministry, we had in the Port Development Center representation of 38 ports in Greece, and the main characteristic of those ports were that, leaving aside a bit of Port of Piraeus and a couple of others, the other didn't have any connection with the world around, outside Greece. It was only local communication.
These 28 are industrial.
They are industrial.
Industrial parts.
So you can understand, my friends here, that we are calling the industrial port authorities, those that they are actually exporting service and importing service. And another question I have for you. What is the population of Algeciras?
125.
25,000.
125,000.
125. The wider area,
250.
how many people you work for? I mean, are their job? They are making their living from the port.
The last number I got is basically
About.
No, we are Port Authority. We are 300.
Pardon me?
Port Authority 300, out of which 150 they are Port Police.
All right.
Stevedore, in total, directly around 15,000 directly, but directly plus indirectly plus induced 40,000.
40,000, which is 1/3, κύριε Κόκαλη. Ακούτε να τα κάνουμε, να τα διαγράφουμε αυτά, να τα γράφουμε. Που λέει και ο Καπτοπαναγιώτης τους άκουσε όταν λέει κάτι καλό, του άρεσε να το γράφουμε αυτό. Λέει, το γράφουμε. So, there are out of 140,000, the 45,000 are income related to the port. Okay, in Volos, I believe that more are expenses related to the port, simply because the Port Authority of Volos were always contributed to the local society. So the local society was getting donations from the port and didn't make money from the port. Anyway, Katerina, thank you very much for being with us. You are a financier, you are an economist, and after all, the title of our panel is The Role of the Ports, Economic and Market Analysis. Yourself, you are a shipping financier. That is to say, mainly you finance, with your company, of course, and your partners, you finance acquisition of ships, second-hand, new buildings or whatever, or you enter into projects as well. For you, for your company as well, and you personally, how do you view this role of the port in your business, in your business activity? How are you influenced, let's say, with the development of the international port industry?
Well, as we are advisors in shipping finance, my company is not directly affected, but my clientele is, okay? So because shipping and the world economy is a whole chain, everybody gets affected. The overall crisis, I think, has affected the ports as well. And the viability of the ports are not always financial, but there are ports in developing countries that have more they're economically viable and not directly financially viable, which means that for what I do in my business, we do not intervene. They would be financed by the World Bank. Financing of ports is more of a project financing than that we have with the shipping industry. Mm-hmm. So World Bank really steps in and assists the developing ports and the developing countries in technical assistance and their infrastructure, because I believe that infrastructure is very important. What the ports give to an economy is very much related to the remaining infrastructure, being roads, being railroads, being even hotels all over the area. So I think ports fuel the economy of shipping. So it's a total chain between the ships and the ports. The ports are totally needed.
That's nice. Javier and Apostolos, you will answer this question. In today's world, we have key players that they are buying one port after the other. Do you see consolidation in terms of operators and managers of ports? That is to say, are you happy when you hear or you read the news that Dubai ports, let's say, is coming and buy that port of Spain or that port of Nigeria or that port of England, of UK or that port of Greece, etc., etc.? How do you view this move of creating conglomerates in the port industry on the management side?
Well, this is quite difficult.
As a matter of courtesy, because you are foreigner, you speak first. Just to tell you how how we are, you know, ourselves, the Greeks. We give the path
Okay.
to you first.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It's the
And
difficult...
we speak another nation language, unfortunately, to communicate. Unfortunately.
Well, this is quite a difficult question to answer. I mean, it's true that we...
I don't want you to answer as a representative of the port of Algeciras.
Yeah, I
I
understand
want you to answer as an expert of the ports.
I feel more comfortable with the port managed by the public entity. But in order to do that, you need to be by a legal framework. For example, in Spanish, the legal framework in Spain is that they are encouraging the competition between ports. So basically, in Spain, we are self-financed. We don't get money from the national budget. So we don't basically are affected by the national budget approval or economy. So this is on our shoulders. We cannot excuse to anybody else whether the port authority is going good or is going bad. So as long as the port authority is running well, the income and the profitability of the Spanish port, which has a limit of 2.5% over the turnover, is according to the law, I would rather go into the public system, right? The other option is not a bad option either. I don't see that at Costco is one of the major, just speaking specifically about the Piraeus. I mean, Costco is one of the leaders worldwide. I think the role of Costco for the Piraeus is a very good news for Piraeus. We had this yesterday, the semi-confidential email regarding the Ocean Alliance. They will start operation on April the 1st. And, well, they are taking into account quite seriously to deploy most of the operation of the Mediterranean Sea into Piraeus. That is, we can translate this into, this is labor, this is generating economy, this is good for Piraeus, for Athens. So which one is better? I mean, neither of them are bad, I will say it.
Apostolos.
I believe the same, let's say, because it's a matter of competition between the ports. And I believe that every shipping line wants to be served the best way possible and the cheapest way possible. So this means that all the ports have to have better infrastructure, quicker services and all this, just to be in the market. So this is the crucial thing, and that's why I believe that Greece, because the geographical position of Greece is perfect, just because it's on the way of all these container ships that are coming through. So that I believe that is very important, and this will help a lot.
Katerina, you will, one moment to give it. We have one lady. Let her speak. On this question, you are not there. Hold on. Katerina.
Yes.
Or, no, go.
No, yes.
Please allow him.
It's a matter of fact. I mean, the European statistics, they publish the productivity, right, from, I think it was from 1994 to 2010, 2011, and Piraeus is the fastest growing port in Europe.
Bravo.
So this is a good sign for Piraeus. Very good sign for Piraeus. Very good sign.
Αυτά τα ακούμε από το στόματα ενός Ισπανού, όχι Έλληνα. Όχι, καλά τα είπατε κι εσείς, αλλά το λέμε να το διαρθίσουμε.
Thank you.
Mr. Paul, welcome. Although a bit delayed, welcome. Ναι, δεν το είδα. Katerina,
Yes.
thank you very much, Javier. Katerina, you have somebody that is coming to buy a port. Let's say that yourself, you are here based in Greece, by the port of Piraeus. It is an unknown. And you have a big conglomerate that is coming to buy the port, not of Piraeus, sorry, of Thessaloniki, or of Volos. How do you think that the financiers or the investors will behave? Will the newcomer attract easy investment and financing? Leverage, for instance.
Well, because Greece is, and the Greek ports are very quickly rising, I believe that yes, they will. But it won't be from the Greek shipping, from the Greek financing community. It's going to come from the international financing community.
This is what I'm saying.
And it definitely has to do with the size and financial viability of the investor coming in. So you take into consideration two things: the viability of the project, of what he's going to buy, and how financially stable the investor is.
Yeah.
And then he could find financings with bonds. Is basically one of the most palatable right now sources of financing for the ports. In fact, for the period between 2013 and 2016, worldwide ports in the capital markets, 83% were financed through bonds, okay? Because of the financial crisis in the banking liquidity crunch, bonds are there and the capital markets are there to finance this investor. So yes, he would. But it has to do with the company's financial viability and his strategic plan for the income of the port.
That's it. Because here in Greece, we witnessed this, we had this happiness, allow me to say this with my role that I'm playing with as an advisor to China Development Bank, and a part, of course, of the connection between COSCO and CDB, I want to tell you that the fact that this big conglomerate was coming with an easy financing from a Chinese bank, and trust me, it's not that the Chinese bank are financing easily.
No, they're not.
A big conglomerate, whether it is Chinese, all right? That helped a lot as well, the deployment and, of course, the development of the positive development of the port of Piraeus. Do we have any question from the audience? Yes. Παρακαλώ, να σηκωθείτε όρθιος και να πείτε και το όνομά σας. Δώστε...
That's my glass, yes.
Ναι, με ακούτε?
Ναι,
λέγομαι Βάγγελος Ζούπας και ήθελα να κάνω μια ερώτηση και μια, ας πούμε, υπόδειξη προς την κυρία Σταθοπούλου. Όχι, την κυρία που είναι για τον οργανισμό Λιμένος Πειραιώς, την κυρία Βέρα Αλεξανδροπούλου.
Αλεξανδροπούλου, ναι.
Καλή μου κυρία, έχει γίνει να τα πω ελληνικά ή αγγλικά?
Καλύτερα πείτε τα, εγώ από το Βόλο τα καταλαβαίνω και τα δύο.
Λοιπόν, I would like to make a suggestion to you. We try hard, not only the port, but the whole Greeks, to convince the Chinese to take part of the port which has not been sold. This has been rent for certain years because the port is not moving, as you know. Thereafter, you agree, and I still see on the fence of the harbor written, go out Chinese, and give the operation, Chinese, I mean the COSCO, operation to be in the hands of the labor. That is enough. It's a lead cost just to pay this out to paint, because it is not good treaty between partners. That is what I have to say, and thank you for listening.
Σας ευχαριστώ πάρα πολύ. That was a statement. It was not a question. It was something that you add up. That it was something you add up on what Vera said before. And thank you very much, κύριε Ζούπα. Another question or position, παρακαλώ. Παρακαλώ. Γρήγορα το μικρόφωνο εδώ στο...
Good morning to all. My name is Andreas Xiradakis, and I'm working to product shipping and trading. Actually, yesterday I was reading the Greek report, 2016, and therein there was a pressing number regarding the port of Piraeus. They said that the 78.1% of the containers are for transshipment, which means that it's not a local, it's not periodico, excuse me for the Greeks, the containers. And that means that the local, I mean,
Cargo.
yep, the local cargo is not transit in the logistics centers that we would like to establish and all these things. And I mean, the question is how we can change this in order to build up a logistic concept and hub in the port of Piraeus, for example, Thriasio, and help also the local economy, and not just they have a container which will stay in port of Piraeus and then go to another port.
Yeah.
So we would like to change this.
Just to say in terms of, just to say in general, in terms of support of the local community, first of all, there are projects in place. I mean, I passed a bit quickly the infrastructure projects, but there are...
All the list, you pass it quickly, but no.
Yeah, I had 5 minutes that I had to respect.
You don't have 5 minutes, the Spanish got 15 minutes.
Presentations will be online, I mean, from the website.
And I'm here for the whole day if you want to talk about the port. But what I wanted to say in general about the local community, there are infrastructural projects for cars, for the car terminal to become the automotive logistics center, for the local containers as well to be promoted with the railway in the other countries. There are projects such as 55 million euros in the ship repair and the shipyard zones of the port, which the port hopes will increase the employment, will revive what the port used to be, which is the ship repair zone as well. And there is an expansion plan for the cruise pier, which will make Piraeus a home port, increase its capacity in home porting, as it will be able to receive and support the long 350 meters length cruise ships, which will increase tourism and in Piraeus and in Athens.
Please. I want to adapt some vector. You have your own.
Yeah. I feel accountable for this question because I didn't explain quite well myself. You are doing this question. Piraeus, thanks to the transshipment, has one of the greatest things a port may have is connectivity. It's connectivity. I mean, in order to get to the final point, which is to generate added value services, this is what you're talking about, the import-export, the first thing that you may have is connectivity. So once you have 60, 80, or 90 services connecting Piraeus all over the world, then you may start working with the local and national shippers to develop a specific traffic. Because the Port Authority needs to be specialized in certain traffics. For example, in Algeciras, we know, as explained before, east-west is volume, right? Transshipment. North-south is added value services. So we open a new reefer terminal, 12 million investment from Agro Merchant Group. It's a new group financing by an investment fund from the States. As I said, we are trying to get into the port concessionaires that are able to attract business or traffic to the port. So the old model is to have local people, right, like a reefer terminal, small size or medium size services into the port. Right now, Port Authority, we are looking for investors to be set up into the port to attract business into the port. So the issue that Piraeus has a lot of transshipment, believe me, is very good. Trust me.
And I want to add, if I can add for your answer, is that even the 26% that remains out of the million of TEUs that are coming, will give a lot of job for the logistics and distribution centers that will be created in the whole part of Greece, next to the national road and next to the railway stations. This is for sure that's going to happen. But no dialogue, because πρέπει να τελειώσουμε. Κάτι να κάνεις και εσύ.
Just a small remark. The transshipment is very important to all the ports because it gives a lot of benefits to the local economy. Even that you don't see it because you say that a container comes and goes, there are a lot of other activities, let's say for the food, for the petrol, for many things that are added to the local community. And of course, the main also issue is that the connectivity that Javier told before is because you open new roads, sea roads.
Thank you. I think that δεν μπορούμε να πάρουμε μια ερώτηση που είναι εκεί ο κύριος. I want to tell you that at the end of our panel, you have to congratulate us because we cut by half our term. Although Ms. Stathopoulou wants to stop now. Παρακαλώ, κύριος. Εκεί έρχεται, κυρία μου, αμέσως. Εδώ είναι Navigator Service. Άντε ρε πατεράκι, βγάλτε μου.
Thank you. My name is Stathopoulou. I'm the commercial manager of Piraeus Container Terminal, the Costco site, let's say. So I'm 100% covered from Javier and Mr. Kamarinakis with regards to the question for the local gateway cargo. I just wanted to add something. The new management of Piraeus Port vision is Piraeus to become the largest hub in the Med. Sorry, Xavier.
What, sorry? He encouraged this.
The biggest distribution center in the Med and a very big logistics center in the area. That means in all business units, cruising, containers, cars, ship repairs, logistics services are valid for all these business units. And with regards local cargo, we consider local cargo all European cargo. So the south gate of Europe is Piraeus, and this is what we want to promote. And the rail link of Piraeus with the Central Europe is a vital, it's a goal of Chinese government, I could say, on their one belt, one road concept, to have direct and faster connection with Central Europe via Piraeus. The 60% of the GDP of Holland concerns cargo, which is not Dutch. It's for the other countries. If we, in Greece, will obtain the 30% out of this 60%, which geographically belongs to Piraeus, Hungary up to Austria, you can imagine the bow, then we will have, according to the analysts, 1.2 billion euro income only from the duties, not from taxes or services that may come with regards to the services given to the cargo, only from the duties. So you can imagine MFIA could be avoided just only for this subject. That was I wanted to say. Thank you very much.
Ήτανε πάρα πολύ διαφορετικά. Thank you very much for what you said, Mr. Xiradakis. It was... Ευχαριστούμε πάρα πολύ. And the only remark that I had for you is to tell you that from what I understand from the beginning is that Mr. López, Javier López came here and he promoted equally to you the development of the port of Piraeus. And this is the encouraging thing for all of us, being Greek citizens or living in Greece, whether we are entrepreneurs or diplomats, or we want to promote this little country to get out of crisis. And with these words, I would like you to congratulate these panelists. They were fantastic. We don't know when exactly we are going to be together in a panel, but you will be informed. Thank you very much for your attention.